Okay, so on a whim, I decided to A, film this video, and B, wear this lip color. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah.
Melanated!
So I got my hair done and I figured I would film a video because this is the only time this is ever gonna be as neat as it is right now. So I'm gonna try to film as many videos this week as possible, girl. Oh, let me talk about this lipstick first. I know someone's gonna ask me. This is Forever Matte by Ruby Kisses liquid lipstick. The color is Azure, and I got it from the Black Beauty Supply. So I don't know where you would get Ruby Kisses otherwise than the Around the Way spot. You know what I'm saying? If you can get a wig or you can get some braiding hair there, they'll sell this. Do you guys watch 90 Day Fiancé? I started watching this because of my good friend Chris Farah, and so I decided that I was gonna get into this current new season. 90 Day Fiancé is a show that's on TLC. It comes on Sundays at 8 p.m., probably 7 Central. So if you're a little oversensitive and you feel like I might be talking about you or judging somebody you know, I'm really sorry about that. I don't know you. I'm not judging anybody you know. You might want to turn this off now. So the show 90 Day Fiancé is about, I think this season is about 6 Americans who have been in relationships with people who live abroad. They've grown to love these people and they want to get to know them to move on towards being married. The Americans are going to travel to the country that these people are and get to know them and decide whether or not they're going to bring that person back to the US. And once they come to the US, they have 90 days to get married in order for that person to be able to get their green card. The main thing that I find very interesting is the age difference between a lot of these people and the reasons why you think that they're in love with these people from either way. Let me get out my notes because I took a couple notes, girl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I only have 5 couples. So this season only has 5 couples. So I'm going to give you a breakdown of each couple and tell you a little bit about their backstory and what's been happening. So far it's only been 4 episodes, and you might be thinking that's a lot of episodes. It really isn't, because the storyline hasn't gone very far at all. It's a little slow in the uptake, I feel. So the first couple I'm going to talk about is Abby and Sean. Abby is a 20-year-old Haitian girl, and Sean is a 47-year-old twice divorced Ohio white man. I don't know how long Sean and Abby have been talking, but Abby has a sort of a trend of dating older white men. We find out later on in episode 1 that she dated another white man named Chris, who used to meet her in the Dominican Republic a lot, and they would hang out. But I guess now they broke up and now they're just friends, and so she's now engaged in a relationship with Sean, and Sean knows about Chris. Why Abby told Sean about Chris, girl, I have no idea. Sean says that he's in love with her and that he's always liked darker skinned women. He didn't say black. He just said darker skinned. Don't know what that means. But Abby's like my color. So like he likes black women, girl. Okay. His first 2 wives weren't black. And so he's excited to meet Abby, and he has a little bit of trepidation because Abby is the same age as one of his children, obviously. And so he, for whatever reason, feels like Abby is the love of his life, that he has been waiting for a woman like Abby his entire life. He has 4 kids. He's been single for 6 years. And so because he's been always attracted to darker skinned women, he decided he was going to join a Caribbean dating site. Abby's 20 years old. She lives at home with her parents. She's in school. This is the second older white man she said that she has dated on the show. And she says that she finds them more sexy than other men. So I guess I could see Abby thinking that older white men are sexy, but she's not picking sexy older white men. Like, there are sexy older white men out there. These Sean and Chris are not them. No. Mm-mm. So next we have Darcy and Jesse. Darcy is a 42-year-old woman who lives in Connecticut. She's a business owner. Her and her twin sister own a fashion company. It's called House of 11. Darcy has 2 kids, and she's been divorced for 6 years. She has been in an online relationship with Jesse, who is 24 years old, and he's in Amsterdam. I like Darcy. I feel like there's something about her that is really endearing, and I do think that she's a good person with a great heart. However, she is so insecure that it makes me uncomfortable. Like, she's a twin sister, and because of all the work that she's had done, they don't exactly look like twins anymore. And her sister's like completely worried about her and like is like, you're dating this 24-year-old in Amsterdam. Like, what do you think is going to come of this? And Abby's like, I'm in love. Like, she's gone to Amsterdam to be with Jesse for 6 weeks, and she's hoping that he's going to propose to her at the end of that 6 weeks. And I'm just like, Darcy, how selfish of you. He's 24 years old, and you want him to propose to you? You want to be married to a 24-year-old and like snatch all of his 20s? You've had your time to have kids and shit. Are you gonna have kids with him? I don't know. I think that Darcy's style is fly. She's a little extra. Like, she like wears all the jewelry. She has the longest nails. She wears all the rings. She has the lashes. She has the Botox. She has the lips. She has all of it. She has the long extension. She does the most. And you can tell that it comes from a deep place of insecurity. So I'm interested in seeing how this relationship goes, because Jesse is a little bit like a marriage. Like, I find you attractive and I find you sexy, but I don't know if I'm ready to get married to you. Like, I don't know that I'm ready to be the father of 2 preteens. All right, so we'll get back to them. So let's move on to the next couple. We have Paul and Karini. Paul and Karini are the funniest couple of my entire life. Like, Paul is a 34-year-old, awkward, nerdy white guy from Kentucky. He is in love with his girlfriend, Karini, who is a Brazilian woman who only speaks Portuguese, not a lick of English, who lives in the heart of the Amazon. They only communicate with each other through translator apps. Like, he doesn't speak a word of Portuguese. He's decided that he's going to go visit her. Okay, he's like, I really love her. Let me get the quote. He's never been out of the country. He says that she has more heart than anyone he's ever met. Through texts and through FaceTime, I guess, whatever, pictures and stuff. He feels like she has the most heart of anyone he's ever met. And I'm like, Paul, you have actually never met Karini. So this fool is preparing to go to the Amazon to meet this girl. Let me tell you how deep in the Amazon she is. He has to take a plane to the closest major city, right? And then he has to take a 2-day boat ride up a river to her town. A 2-day boat ride. He can't even drive to her town. He has to take a 2-day boat ride. He's getting some information from this woman. I guess she's a travel agent girl. I don't know what she is, but she's telling him that he's going to get yellow fever. He can get malaria from the mosquitoes and like all this kind of stuff. And so he is like freaked out. He has 4 military grade footlockers filled to the brim with nonsense, plus a military grade duffel bag and like, I think one, like a backpack or something. I don't know why he thought he was going to travel to the heart of the Amazon with 4 footlockers by himself, because that crew, the crew that's following him around, is not helping him not one bit. We see every struggle, getting on the plane, getting off the plane, getting on the boat, going through security on the boat, getting off the boat. They let him do all of that by himself, and it is so hilarious. He has got it filled with stuffed animals and cookies and crackers and shit for her. And then all the rest of it is like like electric kettles and bottles of water and all this stuff so that he doesn't get dysentery and diarrhea and all this. Like, I mean, he literally has every single thing that is in anyone's medicine cabinet. He has every single thing that's anyone's like pesticide drawer. He has nets that he puts over the bed. He has a full body mosquito net that he's going to wear himself when he's walking around. Like, this kid is a Looney Tune, okay? It is so ridiculous. All of this stuff. I'm like, bro, you might as well not even go. Just send Karini a ticket and tell her to come see you. Like, Karini lives in a space that's just like a sink, some like lawn chairs, and like a bedroom with like a wooden door. Like, she lives in something that isn't even conducive for all of this nonsense that he's bringing to her. It is so crazy. So next, in like the 3rd episode, they introduce us to Courtney, and Courtney has been talking via text only to some dude named Antonio, and everyone around her thinks she's being catfished. She's going to go to Spain and meet Antonio, and she has no idea what he really looks like. He's just been showing her pictures of himself, and to me, he looks like he's a model, but also like a risque like model as well, almost to a point where I think he might be gay. I don't know. Even if it's really even him. And she's also admit that she's been catfished before. So it's crazy. How she met him is that she went backpacking through Europe, and while she was doing that, she was on Tinder. So every time she was in a new country, she would go on Tinder and try to meet guys or whatever. And she met Antonio, and while she was in Spain, she never even met him. And so they've just been talking for like a couple of months now, and never on the phone, only via text. No Skype. He's always busy, which is like, I mean, just so conducive of a catfish. Her parents are like, well, you know, if you're happy, but don't forget you got catfished before. She's like, no, I'm okay. And I'm just like, whatever, girl. The only saving grace is that she has 2 homegirls. One's Indian, one is like, I think Colombian or like South American or something, and they are giving her all of the tea, okay? They're like, girl, he's catfishing you, and he's a porn star. All right, so the last couple we have is Patrick. I can't remember the girl Patrick likes because I just don't really remember her. I guess I could look her up. I think he's in Kentucky as well, or he's Tennessee's like some southern state as well. And he's a DJ. He's fairly good looking, and he is interested in a Parisian woman who is Muslim. We do know that he has a baby mama who he's good friends with, and that he has a daughter who he's in absolute love with, and it's so cute. In the 4th episode, we're introduced to Patrick in the 4th episode, and we get introduced to him and his relationship with his daughter and his relationship with the daughter's mother. So I don't have much to say about Patrick, and I'll have more to say about him next week. But in the previews, it looks like the Parisian girl is going to drop a bomb on Patrick that he was not expecting. And he's also planning to go over there. So over the course of these 4 episodes, the American people have either gone to these countries to meet them, or they are planning to go. So Patrick and Courtney are planning to go, and we've already seen Paul, Darcy, and Sean get to their people. So Sean says that he has spent about $12,000 investing in this relationship. When he goes to Haiti to meet Abby, he stays at an Airbnb, and she stays at the Airbnb with him. She meets him at the airport with her friend, and she's like there, like smiling the biggest smile and like crying, and is so happy to meet him. He comes with like luggage filled with stuff for her. He brings her an iPad. He brings her a laptop. He brings her like, I want to say like 500 pairs of underwear, because she does like online. She sells clothes online, or she sells clothes to like people in her neighborhood or something. So like it's part of her business. So he brought her all this underwear so that she can sell on her online store or whatever to support her. And he wants to make sure that she's taken care of. When Sean meets Abby's mother and father, it's kind of like a weird reception, because Abby has to translate. Abby speaks English, and so she translates the conversation, and her family's just kind of like, okay, like, I guess if you want to marry this American man. But I feel like everybody's family is pretty good sports for allowing cameras into their home, because yeah, it's weird. So that's it about those two. Now we get back to Darcy and Jesse. Okay, so Darcy and Jesse spend their first time together. Darcy gets off the plane and she has to put on her Christian Louboutin, where she can barely walk in. They get to his studio apartment, is like literally the smallest space ever. And she brings 2 giant luggages, like 2 giant suitcases, and he like mentions, he's like, I told you to only bring 1 suitcase, and she's just like, I know, babe, but I couldn't fit all my stuff in it. I'm gonna be here for 6 weeks. And he's a little bit like, there's no space in my apartment for all your stuff. And like, he's not prepared at all for how long it takes her to get dressed, or how much time and money she spends into her beauty. And he makes comment on it. He's like, babe, like, you put so much makeup on, or it takes you so long to get ready. And she's just like, I know, babe. You know, I just want to look pretty for you. And they go out a night out, and he says to her, wear some comfortable shoes. And she refuses. And she goes and she puts on her Louboutins again. She bought 2 pairs of Louboutins, like nude color and a black color. And she puts them on again. And they're walking around the cobblestone streets. And he's like annoyed, because he's like, babe, I told you to not wear those shoes. And she's like, well, can't we just find some place to sit and eat? So they find some place to sit and eat. They're talking, you know, just about like whatever. And she keeps saying how excited she is and how perfect everything is and how awesome it is. And he's like, Darcy's really excited. She keeps saying like how awesome everything is. It seems like that's how Americans are. Like, they're very over expressive. Like, he says things so bluntly to her, or so bluntly to the camera, that like, she's just a little bit like taken aback with how she calls it controlling he is. And I don't see it as him being controlling. Like, maybe it is a little bit, but like, I more so see him trying to like get her to be real, you know? And that it was fine when it was like over the phone, or like via text or via Skype, but like in real life, he just wants her to be real. And I think that he doesn't realize that this is her. She's not going to drop the mask. Like, this is who she is. And then in their dinner, she mentions a wedding ring, and he's just like resistant to it. And he's like, well, you know, we'll think about it, but there's no rush. And she's like, well, it would be really nice to leave here at the end of the 6 weeks with a ring, a promise of marriage. And I'm just like, does she not realize he's 24 years old? It's like, she's like so desperate for love that she just is like not thinking about logistically of how that's going to work. They spend their first night together, and it's weird because the cameras are still in his tiny, tiny apartment, and she's got like this fluffy pink robe on and all of her makeup on. I mean, all of it. And he tells her, he's like, babe, are you going to sleep with makeup on? And she's just like, well, I just want to look pretty for you. And he's like, can you go take it off, please? And she's like, okay. So she goes into the bathroom and literally just does this around her face. Like, doesn't take off any of her eye makeup, doesn't take off her ridiculous eyelashes. And first of all, I'm like, in Connecticut, do they not have places where you can get like semi-permanent eyelashes? She's literally got the strip eyelashes on. I'm like, girl, what? Why didn't you get some natural lashes before you went there? They would have lasted the whole time. The next day they go to meet his family, and his stepdad is so blunt. His stepdad is like, where is this going? And why would you date somebody who's out of your league? He says it in front of Darcy. Darcy's like, well, I don't think I'm out of his league. Like, I feel like we're even. And I'm just like, I feel like career-wise, she's got everything over him. Career-wise, like, yeah. She's got her own business. You can tell she makes money in Connecticut. Like, she's good. Her and her sister are good. And he's just like a personal trainer or whatever in Amsterdam, and like a model, I think, but not like a huge model because he's still personal training, obviously. But I think in look wise, like that's what the dad was saying. And Darcy like gets all in her feelings about it, as would I, because he was just so rude about it. And Jesse just doesn't know how to answer that question because he wasn't expecting the dad to be as blunt, even though he knew his stepdad was going to be blunt, but he didn't realize that he was just going to be like that blunt. And Jesse's mom, who was about the same age as Darcy, is just kind of sat there looking awkward, but she gave Darcy a big hug, and they were really receptive and nice to Darcy when they had dinner at his parents' house. And his parents are kind of kooky and original. Ooh, I don't know how that's going to turn out. I think that Darcy has really, really high expectations. Also, Darcy can't ride a bike, which is really weird because he tried to take her bike riding to like, exercise because he's obviously somebody who works out all the time. And I don't think Darcy's somebody who works out, and she was not expecting to have to ride a bike, and he was getting a little frustrated. So like Darcy and Jesse already, I can tell there's like a little bit of like, she isn't quite what he expected as far as like being physical and like active and like being open. And he kind of thinks that she's a little loopy and dumb, I'm feeling. But he thinks she's beautiful, and like, he likes her, and she's just all head over heels in love with him. It's crazy. All right, so let's get to Paul and Karini. So Paul gets there. He can't speak to her family. I mean, it's just so much awkward times between her and Paul, Karini and Paul, Karini's parents and Paul, like awkward. He's staying in a hotel in there, or like some kind of motel situation in her village or in her town. And he asks her dad, who was a former Brazilian cop, if Karini can stay there with him. And so he interprets that, the dad, as Paul asking if he could have sex with his daughter. And he's like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. And Paul is so awkward. Like, he's not comfortable in his skin. And every time he hugs someone, he like hugs them, and it's like, oh, yay. Like, I'm like, that's not how you hug someone that you like are in love with. Like, every time he hugs anyone, he's like, oh, like pats him like this. It's so weird and awkward. Her dad is like annoyed, and then her dad is just like, look, she's an adult, because Karini is 21. She's like, look, she's an adult, she can go stay with you if you want to. And he's like, no sex, because get this, Paul, before he has sex or any kind of whatever with Karini, he wants her to do a pregnancy test and an STD check. I mean, it makes sense, but like, he brought that stuff with him. He brought a pregnancy test for her to take one. And the STD check, I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know when and where that's going to happen, but that's one of his things. Sex with him is going to be so terrible. Poor Karini. He's just so weird and awkward. All right, guys. So that's really all I have for the first 4 episodes. The first 4 episodes, like I said, really concentrated on Abby and Sean, Darcy and Jesse, and Paul and Karini. And I think the next episode is going to do a little bit of catch up on those couples, but it's really going to go into Courtney and Antonio and Patrick and the Parisian girl he's going to meet. I hope you guys will watch this show with me because I think it's really entertaining and it's going to be fun. Let's watch it. 90 Day Fiancé. I think it's called like Before the 90 Days. All right, that is it for this review recap of 90 Day Fiancé. I'm probably not going to get these up on Monday. The show comes out on Sundays, but I'll probably get them up on Wednesday and Thursday just because I'll have so much to do with morning tea that I won't be able to commit to Monday or Tuesday. So check for the review Wednesday and Thursday. I don't think that anybody really is doing reviews, recaps of this show on YouTube, so I figured I'll do it. If you like what I do on this channel and you'd like to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please check the link down below and become a patron. And always remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.